Hello. What's up, guys? No, let's take that out. Hello. No. I hope I haven't got anything in my teeth because I haven't actually checked. But hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast, Backseat Positivity. I nearly said the old podcast name then, but then that was an accident, wasn't it? So, thanks for coming back. Or if you're new, welcome. I'm Dawn. I sort of was a doctor. Now I'm not. I don't know what I am. I'm just sort of in the middle. I'm a random in the middle thing. So today you're in the middle of a relationship series. You don't need to listen to them in order. So don't worry. You can start here. We're in the middle of the relationship series, and today I'm talking about relationships with our bodies. This is a toughie for women and men alike, I would say, but obviously I'm just going to be speaking from a female perspective here because I am a female. I don't know if you knew that. Okay, so I guess we always start with a little story, don't we? Like what my journey through body land. So I've always been a chunky monkey. My dad said I was big boned. I'm just wide. Like, I'm short and stout. That's what I am. I've accepted it. That's my fate, okay? I stopped growing at age 11. I hit puberty and then that was it. Stopped growing almost straight away. So I've always been 5'1" in my head. I've never really known any differently. I have just always, because I'm so short, I mean, it doesn't help with being like short, makes you bigger, doesn't it? But as in, makes you look wider because you're less stretched out. But I've always been shorter, wider, and I've got really wide feet. I think that's enough. I've said enough wide words here, okay? One of my first comments about my weight, and I'm going to say it almost word for word, and I remember it very vividly. Shame on you, boys, who said this to me, because it stuck with me, 10, 20 years later? I still remember it. It was something like, slap her ass and ride the ripples or something. So it's basically like I wasn't even that big a child. Like I was I wasn't like the skinny, typical like really skinny like child. But I wasn't like rolling down the hill. So yeah, that was one of the first comments I got. I forgot about my primary school teacher. Said I had sausage fingers in front of the whole school. I also remember that, despite being in like reception, so I was pretty young. These things have tormented me forever. So yeah, sausage fingers, ride the ripples, always like ride the waves or something. Basically implying that I'm fat. I also had quite a horrible stepfather who he would just comment on my weight or, it's just not a healthy environment to be around, is it? No. So, furthermore, if you're my age, 28, you'll understand this. Or, well, if you're older, you'll also understand this because you lived through it too. We went through something that I would call the diet culture phase, where diets were not only commonplace but extremely encouraged. And what I'm talking about is like fad diets. Yes, people are always going to go on diets. By the way, spoiler, they're bad ideas. Don't go on a diet. They only make you fatter. So and miserable. So I lived through the diet fad culture where everyone was eating like rice and that was it, or like liquid diet, keto diet. And then kind of grew up in this weird phase of like the early noughties where everything was about being skinny. You know, I watched like America's Next Top Model. I watched Super Size versus Super Skinny. That was not an uncommon thing to watch, to be fair. And then like a lot of the reality shows were about, you know, just ultra skinny people, like size 0, that was the goal, and thigh gaps. Maybe it still is, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to the masses here, not just my age people. So that was what I grew up around. I remember hearing about anorexia and Googling it, and then my mum caught me and she was like, Dawn, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, I just heard about this and I'm Googling it. And I'm not gonna lie, at that point in my life, I was like so determined to be skinny that in some way I didn't see their immense skinniness and unhealthiness as a bad thing. In fact, I saw it more like as something to work towards. And it was, you know, obviously there's the extreme end of anorexia, like really unwell. But the people on Super Size versus Super Skinny, I was kind of like, in a way, I was sort of watching them being like, what are they doing that I'm not? Now, the thing is, all these skinny people, they would just eat less, but they would eat absolute shite, like energy drinks, chocolate, like, and that was kind of it, and crisps. So I went through like a very short phase, like a day, like very short, of I tried just having energy drinks, thinking like, oh, maybe that would make me skinny. It didn't, because I only did it for a day. But they also rot your teeth and give you horrible malnutrition and stuff like that. So I'm not advising doing any of this. Please do not take any of that as advice. I'm literally encouraging you actively away from that. So I think my dieting and stuff like that started when I was like 11, when I went to secondary school. That was probably when it started. I would go for runs. I would just try and eat apples throughout the whole day. All of my friends were like, or most of my friends were really skinny, like child, teenager type vibe. And I was just always the fat one. Not fat. I wasn't fat. I was just chunkier. Like, I wish I had pictures of me. I do, but they're not here. They're downstairs. So I guess after, this is kind of hard for me to admit, although I've come to my peace with it, it's sort of like, well, I'm throwing it out into the open now, it kind of makes it become real. I've never I've never been diagnosed with or any, you know, formally assessed for an eating disorder back in the day, but I think in reality I probably would have met the criteria. I was very obsessed with, you know, my weight. I think the worst of it was around, it was definitely when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19. That was the worst of my like eating issues, I would say. I restricted, over exercised. I wasn't happy. I was thin or thinner. I think I reached about 60 kilos, which for me is hard because I just naturally hold a lot of muscle. I haven't squatted in weeks or months, but I could go into the gym right now and probably squat like 100. Like, it's not that hard for me. I just naturally hold a lot of muscle, so I'm very heavy. So 60 kilos was like very low for me. I think I got under 60, it was like 59. But yeah, I would spend hours and hours in the gym, and thankfully I've come a long way from there. I'm trying to think where it ended. God. I mean, it never like has a set end point, but I'll be honest, I think it, after the, eating issues stopped, I never got any like help for it. I just kind of sorted myself out somehow. I'm not saying that that's the goal. I'm just, I don't know how I did it. I just sort of told myself, stop doing it. It's bad for you. Yeah, I have quite a lot of self-restraint. When something like clicks in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing that now. So yeah, I'm trying to think when it stopped. I think, I mean, definitely since I've been a doctor, I think in medical school, probably in like third year, I think I was probably like getting much better, and I was less worried about, I know why, because I was focused on, I used to competitively weightlift and Olympic lift, power lift and Olympic lift, and I was focused on sort of gaining mass and muscle and strength. So in a way that was good for me, because I stopped like restricting myself and just started eating a bit more specifically for, gaining muscle. And then I became single in like fourth year, and I struggled at that point with, it was probably not until a bit later that I started struggling with not feeling like good enough. I don't think the eating issues really came back, but I think I had a lot of mental torment of being like, I'm fat, and like feeling shit about it. And for a long time there was a lot of mental back and forth with myself. And then I met Tom, and to be honest, when I'm in a relationship, I'm quite happy with my body. I know that that's not something to aim for, and I'd love to be able to not have those two like linked, but I do think that kind of security makes me feel better about myself. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but that's where I'm at right now. So we're dealing with it. The thing is, what I realised, I'm always going to have, not always, I hope not always, I think for a long time and it's going to hopefully like slowly decrease as I get older, because when you see older people, which I've seen a lot, they don't give a shit about their body. They're like, whatever. And it's funny because, they're like, oh, I've had kids, I don't care. Like, I look like whatever I look like. And they are much more confident in their bodies than like a 20, 19, 18-year-old who, for all intents and purposes, you would think would be the most confident because they're the youngest and like the most toned and kind of model, what a model would be like in their 20s, right? So it's funny to see that it's like completely backwards as to how you would think. I do think age gives you a kind of perspective, and also having children, you're just like, there are more important things in life now than me thinking, oh my god, I don't like my stretch marks, and I don't like my tummy pouch, and I don't like my bingo wings. Like, there are more important things. You're looking after a child, and then you also have to accept, well, my body's changed. So yeah, what was a turning point for me was I looked back at some of the old pictures of me. I also think YouTube has helped, and podcasting and stuff, because although for the most part I'm like, oh my god, look at that double chin, like a lot of the time I'm like filming down here, so I'm like looking. At the moment the camera's kind of like just a bit above me, or like maybe almost next to me, but for the most part I find it quite hard to hold the camera up here when I'm carrying loads of stuff, so it ends up being low, and then I get this horrible double chin. But I've looked at it so much that I'm kind of immune to it now. I'm like, oh, double chin again. And it's just like, okay, yeah, so I can look this way in a picture, but I don't look like that all the time, because reality hits and I'm not like, do you know what I mean? You slouch and you bend over and just, yeah. Oh, I think what I didn't mention was the social media boom that we lived through in the 2000s. 2009, I think Facebook came out, or 2008. And Bebo was a bit before that, and MySpace. And then Instagram came after Facebook, I think. So Instagram was probably like a very negative turning point for... It's kind of like a magazine, but a magazine you kind of buy and isn't like, you don't look at it every day, and it's not of people you know, and you're like, oh my god, Courtney's doing well. I don't know anybody called Courtney. Courtney's doing well, and you know, we went to the same school, and now she's like a model, and like, what am I doing? Just sitting here talking to a camera. I don't know, whatever. So you can then compare yourself to people who are kind of, in a way, touchable because you've known them. I think although we're out of the kind of diet culture, those kind of diet fad programs, I think we're out of that, and people are being a bit more like, you know, you need to love your body and be accepting of it, and dieting is bad for you. I think it's still out there. I think if you're a teenager, I was going to say girl, but I mean it affects men too, boys. If you're a teenager, then you're probably still in that bubble of, you know, people just saying what they want despite it being extremely rude, and looking at Instagram models, and, you know, I think it's still there, but the medium has changed. Whereas before, for me, it was like magazines and TV. For kids nowadays, it's Instagram and TikTok, for example. So I forgot to say, the turning point for me was I looked at some old photographs, like actual printed out photographs of me. Now, these were digital, but printed off on photograph paper, but well, that's irrelevant. As in, it wasn't long enough ago that digital cameras didn't exist. Like, it was when I was like 18. Anyway, I looked at pictures of me from when I was like 18, 19 I must have been, and I was the thinnest I'd ever been. If you looked at me, you would think, wow, she's so happy, like she's thin and having a great time, partying, whatever. Was I? No. I was just as self-conscious, if not more, then than I am now. In fact, I give far less shits than I did then, and my body was definitely better, in inverted commas. You know, it was more like traditional, like thinner, what you would, I don't want to say I was like aspirational, but as in, because, you know, I've never had like a model body, but I had a better body than I have now. So anyway, now I'm getting wrinkles, although I think I had wrinkles then, but it's definitely more noticeable now. So what I realised was that I can be diet as much as I want. I can be as skinny as I want, but it will never be good enough, because it's not about my body and my mind. It's about how I've been conditioned to think about my body, that it's never good enough unless it looks like that. But then even when it looks like that, there's somebody that looks better. So that was a turning point for me, looking at old pictures and being like, oh, wow, I'm not actually any happier, even though I'm much skinnier. I do think I do want to lose weight. I mean, I would like to lose weight now just for health. You need to be healthier. But I actually, nowadays, I don't weigh myself. I don't measure anything. Before, I used to know all my dimensions. I used to weigh myself like at least once a day. I used to get really uptight about what size I was. Now I know for me it's just healthier not even to give that the time of day. Like, don't even bother weighing yourself. It's not helpful. In fact, it just makes you sad. I do still try and watch what I eat, you know, like eat healthily, because it's good to be healthy. Sorry, I didn't put my hand over my mouth. That was gross. But I am not calorie counting. I'm not watching like specifically what I eat. I'm not restricting myself. You know, if I'm eating like fruits or vegetables, I don't give a shit. I'm eating as much of those as I want. Like, the only thing I restrict myself on is like cake or chocolate. You know, I say, well, I probably shouldn't eat a whole bar. Like, but that's normal. As in a whole big bar. Oh. Okay. Let's go to Reddit, and then I will summarise quickly because I've got improv tonight. I've already found some stuff on what's it called? Reddit, about body image. So I was just going to read some of these. Okay, the top one that I look at surprises me because it's posted on a free compliments page. I thought someone was just writing it on their like own page or whatever. They've said, been feeling especially shitty about my body image lately, so I would appreciate some compliments. And I was kind of thinking, like, why are you posting that? Not because I'm like, you shouldn't be posting that, just because I think you shouldn't be seeking other people's validation. Although, yes, it's nice to have compliments. You don't want to be relying on them for your own... Wow, I'm saying this sentence really slowly because I'm like thinking about it as I say it. You don't want to be relying on other people for your validation. I might have just said that. Body image issues starter pack. Oh my god. This might be me. Constantly pulling shirt down / away from body. Feeling like everybody's watching you. Always checking your reflection. Possible eating disorder. Buying clothes is a chore. Yeah, because I'm just a difficult size. Anxiety, depression, always wearing the same hoodie. I'd like to point out I'm wearing a different jumper today. Only look at yourself in meetings. I wonder what people have said. Me too. I do 7. I got the clean sweep. I'm fat and I kind of hate myself because of it. Because happens when your mother is a former fat person who lost like 200 pounds and is obsessed with weight loss like a crackhead. Okay. I don't know. I would just never go to the internet to be like, can you please validate me? I just think it's dangerous because people are horrible, and I feel like people... In fact, let's see the comments. Have people said nice stuff? Top ones are nice. I mean, firstly, the mean ones might have been deleted. Secondly, people might have just not been mean, which would surprise me. The comments are actually quite nice. They're all like, you're gorgeous, you have good energy, you look cute, good nice smile, you've got great hips. Wow. You have the kind of body I would want to draw. A lot of soft curves, healthy fullness, like a Renaissance painting. Your body's not ugly and there's nothing wrong with it. Your body is beautiful. Your body is art. Oh, that gave me shivers, that one. Body image anxiety. I just got really into a Reddit post thread thing. It was like a really long one, but it was good. I think Okay, this one was posted 11 days ago. I'm so sick. I'm constantly looking at girls on TikTok's bodies. I literally have a bunch of photos of girls I need to look like. I feel so sick looking at myself in the mirror. And it's not even a matter of weight. I'm just physically structured like an actual door. Like, I'll stand in the mirror forcing my ribs together in the hopes that it will make me more shapely. I feel like I'm actually going crazy. Cannot stand this. I feel like I'm nothing if I don't have a nice body. I also keep taking pictures of my body and photoshopping them to look like how I want. I literally look like a little boy. I hate it so much. It's so disgusting looking at myself. That one was quite sad, although there was minimal punctuation, so it was quite hard to read. That one was really sad. I feel like that's how I felt, but including weight. Although I wasn't like a little boy, I was like a big, chunky tree stump. That's how I felt. I think it's just really important to cut out all of that shit from your life. Like, you don't need to watch TikTok to survive. You don't need to watch, like, fitness influencers. You don't need to look at Instagram. In fact, it's much better if you don't. It's like so much. Just get that out of your headspace and realise that, firstly, they're probably sucking it in and dancing. Secondly, they are the few, not the many. Most people do not look like that. And it's a shame that that is strewn across the internet as the ideal rather than the exception. Get off TikTok. Just get off it. Look at the people around you and think, none of them look like they're on TikTok. That's because they look like most people, and most people do not look like people on TikTok for a reason. It's just like, it really is hard to, like, I get it, to try and get over that. I think I'm just like, how did I get through it? I think it's time, and I think it's acceptance. I think you need to accept that you're never going to be happy with how you look, as in, I'm saying that in a good way. Like, you should be happy with what you've got. I don't want this to sound like a dick. Accepting what you have rather than trying to strive for something that is not strivable or achievable. Because in my head, I was just reading a post on here that was like, I try and visualize what I want to look like. If I visualize what I want to look like, my body would be like Jennifer Aniston's, but is that achievable for me? No, it's fucking not. No way on this earth is it ever achievable unless I exercised constantly. Maybe I had a boob job. I'm not saying Jennifer Aniston's had a boob job. I'm just saying to maybe achieve what she has, I would have to have a boob job at that level of fat. And I'd need some kind of surgery, like I would, because they are them and you are you. That the only thing that's going to change that for you to look like them is surgery, and like even then you're never going to be satisfied. I think accepting the fact that you are you by being like, I'm not striving to be somebody else. I hope that's somewhat helpful. It's also a nice way to look at body positivity or neutrality or body image is, and when I say neutrality, I mean just accepting your body for what it is and not trying to be positive about it and not trying to be negative about it, just accepting it and being like, some days I might feel really good about my body and some days I might not, and that's okay, as long as I'm usually in the middle somewhere. So I completely forgot what I was going to say. My memory is... Oh yeah. I think another good way to look at body image is to think, how does my body serve me? Like, my body helps me walk around, and my hips and my boobs and my wide, I've already said hips, and my bum and my fat reserves are going to be useful one day for bearing children. And that's kind of the point of them. You see your body like a physical structure that has a job. You don't see it like an art piece. That changes your perspective on what your body needs to be, which is why I talk about being healthier rather than trying to be thinner. I would like to lose weight and in order to be a healthier version of me, rather than trying to be thinner because I'm trying to achieve a number or look like somebody else. It's how do I feel, and getting rid of the statistics of being like, this is what weight I am and this is what weight I want to be. Just scrap it. Don't think about that. Just think, how do I want to feel? I want to feel, I'd like to be able to run around and not have back pain, something like that. I don't know, or run around and not be out of breath after 2 minutes, or I'd like to be able to run for 5 minutes non-stop. Simple goals. Anyway, guys, I have improv to get to, so I think I'm going to become an actress, by the way. I'm really thinking about acting school. Like, there are some big changes going on in my life. It's weird, okay? I used to be a doctor, as I mentioned in the start of this episode. I just pulled this out of my pocket. How cute is that? It's gerbils, if you're not watching. I think they're gerbils. Maybe they're hamsters. Anyway, they're hamsters in a bag of marshmallows, cuddling and eating the marshmallows, and it's really cute. I was going to put it on my laptop because I went to the computer store today and they have these free stickers. So there we go. Yeah, so I think I need to apply to some acting jobs as well, because I do have something. I have a website that I need to apply on, but I just haven't, because I have to make specific videos, and podcasting and releasing a video every day is quite exhausting or time consuming, especially when you don't start till like 12 or 1 in the afternoon. If only I managed my time better. Anyway, thanks guys. Like I always say, I'd love to hear from you. If you're a regular listener, that would be really great. You might have already sent me an email, but I haven't checked it. Or follow the podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and, I don't know, just do what you want. Just live your life, do what you want. I'd love it if you listen. And share it with other people. Review would be nice too. But look, I'm not forcing you to do anything. Anyway, love you.